Hey there, Design One remote learners. This week we're going to be working on a painting mixing activity. This is kind of a version of a game that we played in class this week. And I think this will be a lot of fun, and this should teach you quite a bit about color mixing using just a limited palette. So as a quick review, there's three properties of color. These are really important whenever you do this activity. So again, the first one is hue, second one is intensity, the third one is value. So just as a quick review again, hue refers to the actual name of a color. So if I was to refer to something as red-orange, again that would be the hue. Violet, again, would be the hue. So just simply the name of the color. And then intensity, super important whenever you're color mixing, is the idea that really refers to how bright or dull a color is. Now if I have a really bright orange or say a really bright blue, if I mix a little bit of the opposite color, the color that's across from it on the color wheel, it'll slowly, shift it into a more neutral color. And so if you have orange and blue and you mix them kind of in equal amounts or kind of find a happy medium in between, you're going to get a color in between that's, almost a complete neutral color. Neutral colors being, white, browns, and grays. And then value, the third property of color, refers to how dark or light a color is, which is really important as well. And whenever you're creating, different values, you can create tints, tones, and shades, which we've talked about, adding white, adding gray, adding a darker color to make it darker. Kind of another example of those tints, tones, and shades. So for this color mixing activity, what I'm going to have you do is you're going to be creating basically 9 different colors composed of 3 warm colors, 3 cool colors, and 3 neutral colors. So the first thing you're going to do is you can look through a magazine and you're going to cut out 3 really unique warm colors, maybe 3 colors that you think could be, maybe even difficult to recreate using just a simple color palette. So these could be reds, oranges, yellows, could be tints, tones, and shades, kind of any intensity of those. I'm also going to include a PDF in this folder of these 3 colors that I've already selected. And again, what I've done is just cut out these 3 different colors out of a magazine, just some flat colors, and I've just attached them to a kind of a white background. You're also going to do the same thing with 3 unique flat cool colors. Again, I think the best way to do this is just to look through a magazine and just find some flat colors. Here's 3 that I selected. Again, this PDF is available for you in this folder if you choose just to print those out if you have a colored printer, or you could do it yourself if you have a magazine at your house. And then you're going to cut out 3 flat neutral colors. And again, neutral colors could kind of fall into this category of browns, grays, blacks, and whites. These are all neutral colors here. These are the 3 neutral colors that I selected for you if you want to, again, download the PDF. So this is kind of what I had, what I've created for me in this demo, and I'm going to show you that in a second. And basically what I'm going to do is using a limited color palette of just a bright red, a bright yellow, a bright blue, the 3 primary colors in white, I'm going to try, then to come back in and mix all these different colors, again using that limited palette. When you're finished with that, or actually as you're doing that, and I'll kind of demonstrate this for you, you're always going to be asking yourself these 3 questions, which are really important. Again, the first one is, what's the local color? Meaning on a color wheel, what color on the color wheel is it closest to? And you start off by mixing that color using your primary colors. Then the second question you're going to ask yourself is, what's the color intensity? Is it as bright as you see it, or does it need to be lowered in intensity or be desaturated using the opposite color of it on the color wheel? And then the last question is, what's the value? As you're mixing it, do you need to make it lighter? Do you need to make it darker? And then you tune that in. So again, our goal is to try to, using those primary colors in white, mix a color that's as close to that, or as close to this, or close to that as we possibly can. Then when you're finished, you're going to take your 9 samples that you've created, and you're going to just take a picture of them. It can just be one picture where you'll show the color that you selected either out of a magazine or printed off the ones that I've given you in a PDF, and then you're going to show me right next to it the color that you created trying to match it as closely as you can, and then just email that to me. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and transition over into a quick demo for you. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started. So one way to do this, if you want to look through a magazine and you're going to find your own colors, like maybe I want to cut out a swatch of here for like one of my cool colors. This here could potentially, I've got a bad reflection, but that could potentially be like a neutral color. This would be a really good neutral color. That's one way to do it. I actually did that already, and these are my 3 neutral colors that I created. These are my 3 cool colors, and then these are my 3 warm colors. If you want to use the colors that I have, again, I've uploaded those PDFs to you. You can color print those, and then you're good to go. I think it's kind of fun to search through and do your own, though. So I'm going to maybe just play around and show you a couple of these. This is my very limited color palette that I'm going to use. And so on a color like this, the first thing I'm going to ask myself is, what's the local color? And if you have a color wheel, or you can look up a color wheel at home, I'm going to set this kind of next to me so you can see this. The paint palette that I'm using here again is this tempera paint. I'll have some of these palettes in the office for you to pick up starting Thursday. And so if you want to pick one of those up, if you have any kind of paint at home, with bright primary colors, it could be acrylic paint, those will work as well. But again, if you do need paint, I'll put that in the office for you to pick up, along with a couple other materials that we're going to need over the next couple of weeks. So as I get started on these, the first question I always ask myself is, what's the local color? What color on the color wheel is closest to this color? So when I look at that, I obviously think that it's probably in the green range. And so the first thing I'm going to do is, I have to use yellow and blue to make green. So I'm going to come over to my paint palette, use red, use just a little bit of blue since it's the darker color. And again, mixing those two together, I'm going to make a green color. Now, that color is way different than this color when you look at it at this point. So I have to neutralize this, or I have to lower the intensity of it. And so I'm going to go across from green, which is red, and by mixing a little bit of red into this color, it'll slowly shift the color into a more neutral color. Probably got a little carried away on that one, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow and a little bit more blue, which is the green. And what that did was it, again, lowered the intensity to where now my green is very neutral. Now, value-wise, this is much lighter. So to lower the value, I'm going to add white to it, and we're going to kind of see where this takes us. So got a little bit too much yellow in there probably. So I'm going to add a little bit more blue to it, just a little bit. And then I'm probably going to have to add just a little bit more red to neutralize that so it's not so bright. And then again, coming in with my white to lower the intensity. You can see where I'm starting to get a little bit closer to that. Still pretty bright. I'm going to add a little bit more red to it. Add a little bit more white to lower the intensity. And then kind of come in and see where I'm at. So now I'm a little bit too in the red area, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue to it. But it's a fun game to try to see how close you can get to these colors. Okay, getting kind of close. Use a little bit more blue still. Come in and check it. A little bit too dark, so I'm going to add a little bit more white. So I'm getting a little bit closer there. So getting pretty close there with my color. And then once I feel good about that color that I've matched, I'm going to go ahead and just add a swatch of color down here. And when I feel pretty good about how close I got, I think I could get closer to that if I add a little bit more blue and kind of tune it in still. But and that's where the fun kind of happens. Okay, so that's kind of an example of that. I'm going to do one more quick example for you. Okay, for this next example, I'm going to go ahead and pull that one aside, and let's see what we got here. Like this one's kind of a could be kind of a fun challenge. So you look at this one, and it's very dark, and so I'm going to ask myself, what's the local color, and then I'm going to ask myself, what's the intensity, what's the value. So local color here, the closest thing to this is probably in the violet range. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and start off by mixing violet. I'm going to mix my red and my blue together. I know I've got to mix a very dark color to try to make this happen. I was telling some of the students in class this week that a lot of art teachers don't even actually have black paint in their classrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and test that. It's kind of, already kind of close a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to this so that it's not quite so bright, and that'll kind of neutralize it a little bit, or lower the intensity. And you can kind of see where I'm at with that. Maybe just a little bit more yellow, and then maybe just the smallest amount of white in there, but it's not quite so dark. I'm going to check that. So pretty close on that one already, maybe within reason. So as you can see, that's a little bit too blue, maybe. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow, again, to neutralize this a little bit, or lower the intensity, and then come back in and see where that's a little bit closer to that color. Okay, all right, and you're going to do that on your 9 colors, and then when you're done, I'm just going to have you take all your colors and kind of put them together, take a picture of that and send it to me, and that's all there is to it. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope it really helps you see color for what it is and really learn again to think about intensity and learn about value. Have a great week. Don't forget to pick up your paint palette, some of the other materials that we're going to be using over the next couple weeks. Have a great end of your week, and look forward to seeing you next.